Okay, my name is Fatima Dike, and I've lived all of my life in this house here in Langa. And I remember when I started to write plays, I said I will never leave Langa, because Langa was my, so it's like, when you have a big farm, okay, and you plant things and they grow. So Langa was like that. It was the place where my stories came from. And I'm still here. So the 70s, ne? Hippies. So one day I go to visit Sue Clark, my friend, and she gets very excited. Tickles used to call me, change my surname from Dike to Tickles. Tickles, come. Somebody has bought the warehouse across the road from my flat, and they're renovating it into a theater. And I was thinking that we should go and offer our services to make tea for the guys who are renovating the theater. We had one hell of a fight on Long Street, because I told her, Lucina, you are white, you've got money, you can afford to make tea for anybody for free. I am black, I am broke, and if I have to make tea for anybody, I get paid. And we're already walking towards the warehouse. You know what she did? She just pushed me through the door of the warehouse, end of story. And then, of course, once you're inside and there are all those people looking at you, you have seen a dead dog, ne? That was my face. And that's how I came to be part of the Space Theatre. Suddenly, in the middle of the renovation of this warehouse, they ran out of money. A lady from Constantia by the name of Moira Fine suddenly appears. And we're told that this is the fundraiser for the Space Theatre. She is going to organize a fundraising event at a small theater in Constantia, at the barn theater in Constantia. Suddenly, Barney Simon is flown down from Joburg to come and be the director of this program. I don't know anything about the arts. I don't know anything about theater. Barney Simon says to me, Fats, I'm going to ask you to read the Black Poets. I'd never been on stage in my life before. I was given 4 poems. 3 of them were poems written by people. The 4th one was a song that was written by Barney Simon and John Mufukeng, if I'm not mistaken. John wrote the music, Barney wrote the lyrics. The 4th poem was the poem that resonated with me. It was the song, Madam Please. I come home, I look through the 4 poems that I'm supposed to read, and Madam Please pulls me. Why? Because my mother is a maid. This poem talks to me from that angle of being the maid's daughter. The fundraising happens at the Barn Theatre in Constantia. The first time I met Athol Fugard was at that event. And a lot of other famous people. I remember Percy Sif, because he was on Springbok Radio in those days. My turn comes, I get on stage. I decided to perform Madam Please as my last poem. So I do the other 3 poems, and then finally I do Madam Please. And I'm standing on the stage with all the madams from Constantia, dressed in their fox, whatever, those fox things they used to wear, wearing diamond necklaces. And my tongue gets stuck to the roof of my mouth, because now I have to address the very people who use our parents as their doormats. But I have to talk to them. I can't talk down at them. I do Madam Please. I finish. There is pinpoint silence in the room. Pin drop silence in the room. And then suddenly, the room explodes. People are clapping, People are stamping on the floor. People are whistling. The whole room goes crazy. And I'm standing there. And I'm thinking, what have you done? You've made these white people happy. We have sold out. I ran off stage, went into the toilets backstage and cried my eyes out. I lived with that guilt of having made white people that happy for 5 years.
So we're celebrating and we're elevating women's stories, unheard stories, hidden stories, never ever told stories in celebration of Malaya Tutu's 90th birthday. Would you like to speak to that? Would you like to say something to her?
You know, when you look at Mamlia, having had such a famous husband like the Archbishop Tutu, and being able to stand quietly next to him, giving him support right through his entire life, his entire career, tells you what sort of a woman Mamlia is. That she was not in that relationship to compete, but she was in that relationship to support. And this is what all black mothers in South Africa have done since the dawn of apartheid. Because our fathers and our brothers have been arrested and put behind bars for years, for life. Others had to flee this country, leaving their families behind. Who was there to keep South Africa growing? The Leahs, those mothers. Mothers who had husbands on Robben Island, who knew that from time to time I have to put money together, find a fare to get me to Cape Town, find a way of getting on that ferry, and go to Robben Island to support my husband morally so that he knows I'm still here with him. The mothers of South Africa, the mothers of the revolution, the mothers of the struggle. They are the women that need to be honored now because they kept their families going, they kept black people going, they kept this country going. Without them, we don't know where we would be today. And so, you know, to the younger generation, for me personally, it is terribly important to do what we were doing during the struggle. We're not just throwing stones. We're not just burning buildings. We were writing about the oppression, but we're also learning about the history of colonization. Because the only way to unravel or unwrap or pull apart anything is when you know how it was put together. And for me personally, in today's generation, my gift would be to live the knowledge that I have gathered over the 75 years of my life with them. Not just as something for them to hold and admire, but for something for them to use to motivate them to step into my shoes when I'm not here anymore. Madam, please, before you shout about your broken plate, ask about the meal her family ate. Madam, please, before you laugh at the watchman's English, try to answer in his Zulu language. Madam, please, before you say that the driver stinks, come, take a bath in a Soweto sink. Madam, please, before you say that last Saturday's funeral was a lie, ask me how my people die. Madam, please, before you ask me if your children are fine, ask me when I last saw mine. Ask about my mother. Is she old? Does she sew? Does she still cook? Ask about my father. Does he have a job? Ask about my brothers. Are they in school or in prison? Ask about my sisters. Are they having babies outside of marriage? Ask now what we want. Ask now how we live. Ask now if we dream. Ask now. Ask now. Ask now, madam, please.